Welcome to Django session part 3, where we'll be discussing backend part of login, logout and sign up page. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel to receive further updates.
The application that we are going to develop is the minimum version of uh, any online shopping cart you can take, but it will specifically sell those vegetables, and it will include two users, admin and the user section. The admin will add the products from the backend, and the user is able to see the products and order them. They can able to add it to the cart, they can add the multiple products to the cart, and the calculation and part will be shown in the cart, and they can check out. While checking out, you will be having payment options like online payment you can choose, and that online payment gateway and the sign in sign up by the Google login will be taken at the last. Okay. And apart from this, while developing this project, you will be uh, seeing architecture of the database that we'll discuss in the next session, how it looks like. For time being, we'll see one more thing that is there in the you user interface part, that is inheritance of the template engine. So how the inheritance of the template engine will work, we'll discuss that with the example, that is base.html file. What the base.html file will do is, see, now you have this page developed already. I'll just take in there, I'll use, okay, you can see this page, but this header and footer will remain on every page. But for that, we will not be displaying, we will not write the code again and again to this header and footer part. So what we'll do is, we'll keep all the header and footer part in the base.html file, and this content part will be dynamic, it will change according to the endpoint changes. When we it goes to the login page, it will display the login form, and it will go to the sign up page, it will display sign up form. When it comes to the home page, it will display the home form. This whole works like this. So we'll discuss about base.html file. So how this works is, base.html file, I'll simply go here and create base.html file. So you can see inside the templates directory, so this will be a common file to every, this will be a common file to every template. So what we'll do is, I have created inside the templates folder directly and not the app folder. Okay, base.html file. To this base.html file, we'll start discussing how it works is, you can see, suppose I want title also. The title that we display over here is this. Okay, I want title to be dynamic, like when I click on the home, I should display home. When I click on the login, it should display login. So to do that, what I am going to do is, say block title end block. Okay, and inside body. Now what we'll go ahead and do is, we'll copy the header and footer that we have created earlier. So we'll just do this thing, we'll copy this entire row of header. Okay, paste it in. Okay, div container flow, paste it inside the container flow. Okay, then this is the header, end of header. your main content goes here. So to write the main content, we'll put a block for this. So block content and say now we'll copy the footer content from the home.html. We'll directly cut paste the footer content here. I'm adding this comment so that you can understand it very easily. Okay, so let's move ahead and check whether this is working fine. Okay, I have added the title, and okay, I'll copy this and then block content and block. So go here, and what you do is so inside title, okay, I'll just say home. And to display, or I don't need this container float because this is already available in my base.html file. Now what we are only worried about is displaying our content, main content. So what we are going to do is block content. This name is similar to what we have given in the base.html file. This means that our header and footer will remain, and inside this content we are supposed to write our main content inside this content. So inside this content, end the block here. So end the block properly so that you don't face any problem. And if you see here, our navigation this thing is not available, like whatever nav bar we have taken is not available. What I will go ahead and do is, whatever CDN that we have added already will be putting that into our base.html. And one more thing, to access this base.html we need to extend it to in the home.html. That means we need to import all the things over here. So how we do that? Extend, then say base.html. In the block properly. Okay, let's see. It is giving me a error, invalid block tag. It is not extend, it is extends. Okay, now you can see our page is all similar, our content is displayed properly. Once you click on login, it should go to the login page. Okay, now how do we do that? Now login and sign up are the things which are part of the user app. Now we'll create a separate app to maintain all the user authentication, user sign up, user logout, all these things will keep in the separate app, so that we will keep all the things isolated. And we 1 minute, there is disturbance, 1 minute please. We'll create a separate app for the user authentication, for to keep out the separate users. So what we'll do is, we'll go here and create, say, python manage.py start app, and say users. Okay, now now you should be able to see users app over here. In this users app, create urls.py file, which is first and foremost thing that you need to do whenever you create any app. And practice these things, guys, so that you will not face any problem. Once you face the problem, then only you will tend to find the solution, and then only you will learn. I'll copy the things from the project directory urls file, and then I'll say I don't need this admin, I just need login. From dot import, I'll import the views inside the users app, and then I'll just say views dot login view, and then name, and this namespace also I'll discuss in this case. Login, how we can access the URL, absolute URL, using this namespace, that also I'll show you in this particular app. Okay, login. Now this URL should be added to our project directory. How we do that? We will be doing it like this. Just say users. So whenever the request is generated, it will come first to the use URL. It will see this URL is empty, and it will go to the users.url. In the users.url, suppose the login path is given, it will go ahead and check for the login, and it will go to the views login view. And inside this login view is not currently present. What we'll go ahead and do is create login view request, return render. Okay, I need to render the login page, which is present in the templates. Right now we haven't created any login page. As I have told you earlier, keep the separate files, HTML files, isolated from each other in the separate apps. So go ahead and create a directory over here and say users. In the templates folder, create users. Here I will have the login page, login HTML, login page. So this is my login page. Okay, so welcome to login page. Okay, these are the things. Now to access this login phrase from the view, what I need to go to the users view, and then say render it, and say request, and this is the so render will have three parameters basically. Last one is optional. These two are compulsory. One is request. Okay, that means you are requesting something, requesting this page, and one is the template path where exactly the template is present. From the users, you need to access login.html. Okay, and third part is your context, which is in the form of dictionary. You can keep is empty, or you simply don't use it whenever you want to use it, then only you use it. So here someone is asking, what is render, sir? So render is something, it is rendering the page. A render is something it is displaying the page to the front end. Okay, the user is requesting that page from the templates folder, and that from the templates folder that particular HTML file is rendering, that means displaying on your front end. Context is something whatever data you pass to the login.html file. So as of now I don't need to pass anything. I can keep it blank or I can simply remove it. Okay, I'll keep it blank so that while knowing, you should know that render will accept three parameters, out of two are compulsory and this is optional. Okay, now let us go ahead and see once. Now when we click on login, now our navbar is present is base.html. When we click on login page, okay, here I need to call our login page from the users. Okay, login view from the users. What I'll go ahead and do is, inside base.html, I'll create the absolute path that is like this: URL, and then say users. From the users app, I am trying to access this namespace. This namespace is exactly this one, and not this one. This namespace is exactly this one. So now if you see run server, there is some mistake that we are going to face. Okay, and right now we are not facing. We will go to the app and we'll click on login. We'll reload the page. Okay, you see here no reverse match. Users is not registered namespace. So what you need to give here, first of all, you need to go to the installed apps in the settings file. Okay, here you need to add the users app, users dot apps dot this class name. Okay, now once you do this, I will just restart my server. Okay, so still you can see that users is not registered namespace. Go to the URL section. I know this, why this is happening, cause I have practiced it earlier, and this is exactly what you need to do. You should come here and say app name is equal to users. Now the error message should go once we reload the things. Okay, this is how it looks like. Inside base.html, when you click on the login page, it will go to users login. So when you go to the login now, it displayed me welcome to login page, but you cannot see whatever header and footer are they available for this. Go to the login page, go to login page. I'll copy this login page. Here you can see. Now, first of all, I am extending the base.html file, and then I am giving the title, that is login. Okay, and inside the block content, that means in the main content, I am giving this form. I am giving this form for login, which includes, leave about this part, I'll explain you later, which includes login and then username and password and then submit button. Okay, let me see how my page looks like. I'll click on login. Reverse for authenticate not found. Authenticate is not valid, view function or pattern name. Okay, now go to the forms. This is giving me a trouble. Let our users authenticate. That means authenticate URL is still not present, that we have not developed it yet. So I will just remove this part as of now. Reverse for sign up is not present. This also is giving me a problem. I'll remove this part as of now. Okay, you can see my login page looks like this now. Okay, which is at the center, username, password. Okay, once you click on the username, password, once you say login, it should be logged into my system. But before login, first we need to have users created. Okay, then only we can make use of this login page. We should register the user either from the admin part or from the sign up page what we are supposed to develop over here. I'll copy these things. I'll keep these things in the separate file. Okay, I will try to put this here and comment it out. I need this later. Before that we need the users. Now we'll discuss about the users model first. So we are going to make use of the users model that is already available in the Django models, Django default models. So how we are going to do that is, so inside which we are going to define. Now we are going to make use of the Django users model. So you can see in the run server, when you run the server, okay, I'll run it once again. When you run the server, you have 18 unapplied migrations. I have not made any migrations till now because first of all, I need to make the database configuration to the PostgreSQL. After that, to make the database configuration to the PostgreSQL in the Django project, first we need to create a database in the PostgreSQL database server. Then only we can make use of that database and we can put it under the project configuration in the settings.py file. So what you go ahead and do is, first of all, you go to pgadmin. You go to pgadmin, click on the servers. I told you, right, like I am using PostgreSQL 9.6 version. Here are the two databases. Just go ahead and create one more database. So my database name would be trending updates db new. I'll use this new because I already have this trending update database, which I don't want to delete because I have some data over there. And say save. While creating the database, okay, now when you click on the trending app update new, you see under the schemas, there are no, in the public, there are no tables present. If you see, there are no tables present over here. Okay, this server is running on 5433 port. Just go to the settings.py file, under which you can, under the database section, remove this part, engine, Django, DB, backend, and use. Okay, now you can see I'm using backend's PostgreSQL. First it was SQLite, but I'm using PostgreSQL now. And trending updates DB underscore new, cause my new database is this, and which I am connecting it to this now. Now, user was this while creating the database. If you see, while creating the database, when you go here and create a new database, owner for this you need to select. So right now I am able to select only one owner for this, that is user. You can also create this owner separately from the backend, but right now I am making use of the default owner that is available. So password that I have used to log in to my database is root at 123. This password, it asks at the time of installation of the PostgreSQL server. Okay, that time you need to put this root at 123, and port also it asks at that time. 5432 was already used by me in the different server, that is version 10. Now I am using version 9.6 on 543T, so I have used 5433 as port number, and these are the settings. I'll just say new. Okay, now you can see, now you cannot see any tables over here. To make use of this table, first of all, first go to the user section. How we are going to import the user abstract model? So from Django models, contrib, auth models, and abstract user. That means you are inheriting all the properties of this class. Okay, abstract user, and using this abstract user you are making this custom user a new table, means you are going to use the Django table itself. So when you use this, what you are going to do, you are going to use same username, same password, and same everything, but to this I am adding new field, because Django has not, for the sign up page it has not got any user photo available. So to show you the functionality of how the upload also works, I am also explaining you the user photo with the image field. So user photo models.image field uploads to users folder. Okay, now inside which you need to have the users inside the media. Now all the things that you upload will be uploaded to the media folder inside the users folder, all the images that you upload. Okay, this is how you build models class. So once you build the model class, you need to migrate the things, but before you migrate the thing, there is one more setting needed in the settings.py file, auth user model. So why this setting is, we are letting our Django project that our default user model is this. But by default user model will be, if you don't mention this, by default your user model will be from the Django side. But we are letting our Django project know that our default model, user model, is this now. Okay, once we do these two settings, okay, let's migrate the project. Python manage.py, make migrations. Python manage.py, migrate. These two things you need to do after all the settings. Okay. Once the migration is complete, you can come here and see under the schemas, okay, under the tables, you have so many tables created. But you can see there is users customer user table, and when you try to view what is the data present over here, there is nothing in it as of now, cause there is create super user also is created. I'll just check whether server is running fine now. Yes, it's running fine. So I'll go ahead and create super user to our project. Creating a super user for this, and in the super username I'll put it as admin. I You can put it as blank so that it will use your computer's username, but I don't want to use the my computer's username, so I'm putting it as admin. I'll put one sample email id admin@gmail.com, and I'll put my uh, password as root at 123, where R is capital and everything is in the lowercase. So user is created successfully. Once the user is created successfully, you go ahead here and see whether the data has come. Yes, the data has come to you all. Now this this admin section, our server is running. Go to the admin part of the project. Go to the admin part of the project first. Yes, I have come over here. I user is logged in and 123. Previously, when you saw this admin part, you came across authentication and authorization. Under this, you came across two tables, that is groups and users. But now users is not present, because users is being already being used in our users model, and that model has to be registered in the admin section. So go to the users part inside the admin section. So admin.py file, I had already discussed that this is to register the whatever models that you want to make admin see. Admin.site.register from dot models import customer users. Okay, I'm importing this user and I'm making this to see by the admin site register custom user. Once you do this, you are able to see these users. Okay, see here, you saw one more user with the users is there, and one more users is being added. Once you click on this user, you are able to see what all details you have provided for the admin section. But this form doesn't look so good, that your password is displayed over here and user permission is displayed over here. Like you see, username is displayed. This is not in the particular format, but the user photo that you have added from your models.py file has come over here. Okay, once you see this all very carefully, okay, now that we need to see how we need to display the things properly. To display the things properly, first of all we need forms.py file. Okay, this here it comes the concept of forms. Django forms are something which takes care of generating forms by your model, or which takes care of generating form that are from the admin part. Okay, now we'll be moving ahead, and first of all we'll taking only this form. Okay, now I have the ready-made code for this. I'll explain you that code properly. First of all, we need this model custom user. So from dot import custom, what is from dot models import customer users, and from there from dot user creation form. So this is how you import first whatever form is available from the Django side. Okay, this custom form you develop, and here you mention under the meta the model that you need to display, custom users. Okay, and then the custom users. Okay, inside forms fields, you see I want all fields to be displayed, right from password to everything else. So inside the admin form you need to generate a class like, these are the things that are too difficult to remember to import the particular classes. Okay, these are the things that you need to google and actually find out the solution, and then copy paste over here. So user admin, we are from the admin section we are taking this user admin class, and to this class we are giving the model. By default model will be user, and then here we are modifying it to the model is equal to customer, and then the custom user form. So we need this custom user from dot forms custom user form. So custom user form is displaying all the fields now. So all the fields now to register it with the custom user we are giving this settings. So this is basically like settings. So register will hold custom user, that model to be displayed, and filters to basically filters for that model, you can say. Once we rule out this, we should be able to see proper form. Now username, password, first name, last name, email is our proper form. Okay, so apart from this, you see here whatever field that we have created from the models user photo is not actually displayed over here. So for that you need to go ahead and create the field set. Okay, this means that inside this field set, user field set, see user admin field set, that means whatever fields are available already with the user module that are already displayed, but with that it is adding up this user email confirmation, user photo, photo I need to use. Okay, user photo. So this user photo is the display for this. Once I do this, is the display name for this user photo, and this is the field to be displayed from this customer user form. User photo is the field to be displayed. So this is how we are attaching users module a new field, so that is displayed. So now my form works very fine now. So suppose say Abhishek and then Udru. Save. Now we have one user with us. Now once we have one user with us, we will think about logging in our system. Okay, we will start developing logging into our system. How do we do that now? Okay, you see login is there. Once you click on login, it is displaying me the login page. Okay, now I add admin and root at 123 and say login. Nothing is happening cause we haven't decided to give a view to this, to actually provide the authentication to this. To have authentication to this, we'll use the authenticate module. So what we need to do is we need to go to login.html I told you about the action. If you are familiar with the action, form and submit, okay, you will know what this action is. So basically what it does is, once you, so this method is post, this form will post, this form is used to post, so method is post, okay, and this is just the class name. This has nothing to do with your functionality. And action is once you click on this submit button, so this is this input, this button is of type submit, and once you submit, this will take this whole form and submit to the authenticate view, okay, which is present at the users authenticate. Under the users, okay, under the users URLs, you see there is no endpoint created with the login, authenticate. So I will say authenticate and say same over here. So I want authenticate, I want to authenticate the things, whatever username and password I receive it from there, I want the things to happen it over here. To, I'll simply copy paste the code of the authenticate and I'll explain you the code. Okay, now we are going to use Django's authenticate. So these are the classes that you need to import. So I'll import it. So what are the classes? This is the message. So Django will provide intern messages framework that will allow you to display success, error, and informatic messages. Alert. It's basically works as alerts. And then from the contrib auth, you need to import authenticate. This function is used to authenticate your username and password. Once the username and password is authenticated, it will throw you the user that has to log in. So you make use of login and log out. Okay, for we will only be worried about login as of now. From here I need to HTTP response redirect import, so the error message will also go authenticate. Now once the form is submitted, it will go to users authenticate, come to the users URLs and see users authenticate views is present, go to the authenticate. Now whatever user string is there, now request post.get username, this is the field name which is actually present inside login.html. You can see place name username and name password. These are the names that are actually used over here inside views, which will get us the username and the password from the front end. Okay, once you get the username and password, I'm just printing it over here. What would be my login URL would be this only, and redirect URL would be my home page. Once I logged into the system, it should come to my home page. If username and string is username and password is present, then only come inside this. Now username and password, user authenticate is the class to log in, which will authenticate automatically with the username and password. Looking at the backend, it will communicate with the database. And see, if you remember, we had to write the SQL queries, okay, earlier, that select star from where username is this and password is this. It will throw you the list of rows earlier, but here you don't have to do anything. Django will provide the authenticate module which is inbuilt, and you can use it as for the login. So once the user is login, if the error message is there, if some errors is there, then it will throw a error message. Say messages is the framework, and it will throw the error message request. So you see HTTP response delete on the login URL, it should display the error message also. If this is successful, now the user is there. If the user is there, it should log into the system. So it is logging to the system. It is creating a session for that username so that it will be remembered throughout the process. And once you log out, then only the session will be killed. Okay. You don't have to log in again and again. So you need to make use of this login. This is login. Suppose if the login fails, then it should throw a error message. And if the username and password are not there, it should throw please enter username and password. This is how that code is and authenticate process is. Is this thing clear to you all? I'll demo this login, how it is working. I'll demo this login page. Simply, okay, just go ahead and refresh this page. Once I refresh this page, okay. Once I refresh this page, I click on admin root at 123. Say login. See, once I say login, okay, it got me logged in and then it pushed me to the home page. But you still see here login page, login over here. You should be able to see your username and say logout from this. So what you need to do from the base.html, in the base.html, login is there. So what I'll do is I'll just use if request dot user dot is authenticated. Then display this. Okay, I need to display username who is logged in. Okay, what I'll do is I'll say now if he is else condition for this, I'll end if condition also. If this user is not logged in, it should say that it should go to login page. Login. Okay, it should go to login page. If the user is authenticated, then it should display me first this thing and it should say I'll also use the Glyphicon as logout and it should display me this, and I'll simply I can go to logout one, but I don't have this view as of now, so I'll put it hash. So on clicking of logout, nothing happens. You see here, once I reload the things, now admin name is being displayed. Once I click on this admin, I have nothing here. I have not defined anything over here. So logout functionality is not given. So you want to give the logout functionality, what you need to do is you need to call this URL. Okay, I'll say call the URLs from endpoint logout with the namespace. Okay, go here in the users URLs part, I have login, create one more that is for logout. Okay, and then say logout Okay, and from logout you will come here and write a function logout which will have the request and say pass. Okay, I'll just copy paste the things. For the logout view I'll copy, say okay, copy. This is my logout function. So how this works is, this is the template name, okay, login.html, and this is the response. Once you log in, it will go to this is the response. Okay, once you logged out from the system, it should again send a endpoint to the login only once you log out from the system. Auth logout is the function that we are using, which is already provided by your Django framework, that is logout. So this logout will take this request. That request holds the user details and it will log out from the system. But after you log out from the system, take the response and from the set cookie remove this username. Value is, first we had, you remember when we had logged in to the system, we had actually created a session for this, okay, for the username. So you need to remove that session now. Okay, once you remove this session and response, the response will be sent to the login itself, and the template name is this login.html. So what you need to do, after all which once it is logged out, it will provide login, or if anything fails over here, it will go to the login page itself. Got it? Cool. So let me demo this logout functionality to you all. Okay, reload the page. I see my server stopped working due to something. Users views has no attribute logout. Okay, logout is there. No, logout isn't there. Okay, let me go here and check what is the name. Logout. Copy this. Okay, now it's there. Now I'll just restart the server. You can quickly do it from here also. Stop the server, restart the server. Okay, this is something newly you are learning, because in the basic sessions this won't be taught. They will teach you on the command prompt itself, which is not good for the faster development. So you need to know these things also. When you go for the interview purpose, they might ask you these things also. I was asked these things from the PyCharm. Now, if you see here, admin is already logged into our system. So when I click over here, it logged me out of the system. Okay, and it gave me a login page again to log in again. Okay, and also it said me login. So when I come to home and when I say login, I can again log in from here. Admin root at 123. Now our logout is also developed properly. Now we'll see about the sign up page. So we saw many, we will be seeing the many login page where it will be said, if not a user, please sign up here. So I had removed code, you remember that from the login.html. I had removed this code because I didn't had the proper view for that code earlier. So cut and I'll just paste it over here. Now it will throw me an error because I don't have sign up view available. So what I will go to the users URL section, say one more, sign up and sign up and sign up. Okay, now what I'll go here and do is I'll just go ahead in the views and create a sign up function. What you are seeing is functional based view, and it takes one parameter as request. It needs to see from where the request is coming from and sign up. Now, so what this sign up will do is, so now our sign up should have the form displayed. So we should be creating one more form. Okay, now this was the form that I had already used, so I'll create one more form. I'll say registration form. From the customers users, I need to have these fields only. Okay, I'll not use, okay, I'll first show with the all fields and then I'll show the different fields. So registration form should be imported now. So from dot forms import registration form. Okay, so from the registration form, now I'll say form registration form. Now this form is holding us the empty form. Now what it will do, return render request users sign up .html. Okay, now I'll pass this as context. Context is equal to I'll pass this empty form. Now what this means is, now registration form, I'll show you how it looks like. Okay, the empty form is being created for all the fields of the users table, and it will be passed as a context to this form object, and then it will be passed to the signup.html user slash, it is not dot, user slash signup.html, but user signup.html is not present. So what I will go ahead and just say file HTML file signup.html signup.html. Okay, I'll copy the code from login, paste it in sign up. I'll remove the main contents of it. I'll remove main contents of it. Okay, I'll say this is sign up page. Now we have sign up here. Click on this here. Now this is there. The header footer is there only in the main content. Sign up. This is sign up page. Now we need to display the form that is already generated with us. This is the concept of Django forms. Always remember, don't use the normal forms that we have used it for the login HTML. This is the normal form which you actually create the input type, password and text like this. Okay, we don't need to do this. We have another similar like simpler method that we can do. Just come over here and say display form. Okay, form. There are two ways of this dot as p, that means as paragraph. You see all the fields are displaying over here. Okay, you see all the fields are displaying over here, but we don't need all these fields for now. We need only what? We need to use only username, password. Okay, username, password, confirm password and email id. We need sorry, we need 5 fields: username, email id, password and confirm password, and then what? Your user photo. That is new field that we are going to give it to the Django users model. So what we do here, coming to the Django forms, users forms.py, we have registration form. Here in the fields we have mentioned it as all. Inside tuple you can add only username and check what exactly different it makes. Okay, inside sign, okay, it is restarting the server and it restarted. You see what it gave. This is the sign up page and it is giving us this password and confirm password. So this is by default. So what we need to go ahead and do is password 1 and password 2. I am writing the fields that I need. Okay, oh, user email, password 1, password 2, and I need user photo. These are the field names inside the database. Okay, if you come to the PJ admin section, uh, if you come to the PJ admin section, columns, see these many fields are available inside your users table. Okay, users, custom users table, password, username, okay, first name, last name, email, e-staff, is active, date, join, user photo. Okay, I want only these many fields, so I have taken only these many fields. Now you see this is not in the correct format. So what you can do, you can either display it like this. Okay, going to the signup.html file, you can display it as table. Okay, now you see what changes it will give. This is displayed as paragraph and as table, so it is giving us like this. So you put it under table, the table. Okay, so you can see, this is displayed in the form of your table. Okay, now I want this to be a form. Okay, for to this, okay, to be a form, I just use form tag, inside which action. So what action I use? I use from URL users, okay, sign up. I go to the same sign up view. Okay, and then end the tag action. Now method is what? Method is post method, that we are posting the data, so it is post method. Okay, now there is something called end type. Why this end type? I'll tell you. This is multi-part. form data. This should be exactly similar to this. So when you are submitting any data that consists of file or image file, okay, that time you need to make use of this encryption type multi-part form data. Then only it is going to submit your data, or else it is not going to submit your data. So what I am going to do, I am going to put it under our form. Okay, form is being displayed now. Input type submit. Okay, value I use as register. Okay, I will use only these things as of now, and say break. A register okay, it is displaying it here. Okay, let it be, let it display it over there, no problem. So when I submit the form, it should actually take up all the, so I did purposely one mistake over here, which I am going to explain it later to you all. Okay, so moving ahead, submit. So once we submit this form, it is actually going to go to this view. Okay, sign up view. So from the URLs you find the sign up view. Okay, this is sign up view, and it is going to, now here we are handling only the form related to our get. So it is displaying the empty form. So if let the form be like this. Okay, if request dot method is equal to post pass else I'll explain you this code. Okay, if request dot method, first we'll see what is there in our request. Okay, coming to this empty form. Okay, it should have printed me something. Okay, you see request. Now you see WSGI request, it is get. Okay, get sign up. Now it is the endpoint and it is the get method. Now once we submit the form after filling it out, it will throw me an error because I have not written anything. Pass return HTTP response redirect and say sign up. Okay, you see admin. Okay, not admin, I'll type some other username and abby@gmail.com, root@123, root@123. Okay, photo is not a required field, so I'll leave it as it is as of now, and I'll click on register. So once I click on register, you see what happened is request Some, okay, 1 second. It should have come as post, but it didn't come. Okay, from the sign up here, one more field I didn't add is CSRF token. That was cross-site request forgery. This will always give a problem in submitting the fraud form. Without this token, every time you submit the form, it will create another token with the server, and it will see whether this token is matching with the created token or no. If this token is incorrect, this is the security feature provided by the Django to avoid any SQL injections that can happen on from your form's input text. Okay. Okay, this should be inside the form submit, always remember. Okay, cut, save. I'll reload, I'll type in again. Is it clear to you all? Any problems do you have? You can drop a message in chat box. Good. So CSRF verification failed, request aborted. Now you see what happened was I didn't provide CSRF token, so it threw me this error. So when you receive this error, always remember inside the forms you haven't used CSRF token. Okay, use this CSRF token. It will automatically create a CSRF token for you with the server, and it will automatically validate it when you submit the form. Okay, go back and reload it. Okay, see here. Okay, it is printing that. It should not be printing, but it should be adding. So this is how the CSRF token will look like. Now when I go and write ab@gmail.com, root at 123, root at 123, I say register. Now when I clicked that, you see what happened. The request, inside the request, it is first post and sign up. Okay, so you see what happened was it went to the user's URL, sign up, and said post, and it redirected again to the sign up page only. We haven't done anything over here. So to submit the form, now I want this field to be saved inside our database. Okay, what I need to do, so register. Okay, sign up form. What I need to do, I need to use this register form. Okay, request.post, whatever post. Okay, whatever fields that we are posting, it will come over here. And especially when you give request.files, okay, when you have any image related file or files, okay, that time you make use of this request file as a parameter to this registration form. So if sign up form is valid, then sign up form dot save. After you save, respond back here, else return to login page. Okay, Any questions, guys? Okay, no worry. Once we save, if this is saved, it should display me a alert message. Okay, not messages. I am being using this message and success message, request, and the message user added successfully. Okay, now I'm reloading the page. Okay, I am say Abby at gmail.com, root at 123, root at 123. Okay, I'll choose file also with me. Okay, then I'll go to downloads, personal. Okay, I have one photo with me. I'll just open this and then say register. Now you see type error at sign up, int object is not callable. Where did it give problem? Let me check. Okay, request, it gave me some problem, int object is not callable. You see all the fields were correct. You see this was what got posted: username, email, password, and CSRF middleware token. Okay, and the user photo also got posted. Cookies are this, session ID. Okay, these many things are these got posted. Okay, let me check where exactly is the problem. I have the code with me to verify it. Okay, sign up, leave it as it is. Okay, use this. Let me rerun this and check whether I was doing wrong while giving the messages, because I had typed message.error. Now I am typing add message request, and this is the type of the message, success message, user registered successfully. Okay, let me go ahead and check in the portal what has been come. Okay, go back and reload the page and type Abby. I'll also check whether the user is being added. Go to the another. Okay, I basically need incognito mode to log in both wells. Okay, so I'll use 127. Guys, bear with me for another 5-10 minutes, please. See, whatever user I had added, it got added, but it gave me a problem after later on. Okay, it got added, no worries, but it gave me a problem later on. Let me check now. It should not throw any error, so I'll trending at gmail.com, root at 123, root at 123, user photo. Let me come here and check for my photo. And let's say register. It should not, yeah, now it didn't throw any error. And let me go and check whether the user is been added. I'll reload the user and you see trending is being added. Now when you click on trending, the rest all things looks to be fine, everything working fine. If you see photo is there, but the URL to this photo doesn't work. If you click on this, URL to this photo is not working at all. So why this is not working? I had explained you something that why it was not working is because of this. I told I will explain you something later on. So I do remember that. Oh, where that went, configuring things. Okay, to access media via URL. Now this is called URL and media is not accessible through URL. So what you need to do, you need to give the static settings media URL to this URLs folder. Okay, inside the main projects directly, go to urls.py file, type in plus, in also add static settings media. Okay, now from django.contrib import, oh sorry, config conf import settings. Okay, settings is solved. Now from where this static will come, I guess static from Django. No, it is not that. So I need to check what it is exactly. Okay, from conf.url.static it is. Imported the static. Okay, now you see static media URL and the media route, which was already there, which these things we have defined in the media URL, that is media, and media route means base directory and the media. Inside the media, I had told you that from the user's model, you can see whenever the user photo is uploaded, it should be uploaded to the users. So inside media, you can find the users folder is being created and it has uploaded two files called 2 times I have used this image. And Django has this unique feature, like if you are uploading the same picture once again, it will automatically rename that image. The next one, it will automatically create a URL for your image. So once you go here now and try to reload, you can see the image that I have be uploaded. Okay, this is the image that I had uploaded. Cool. Now register successfully. Okay, now this is what the sign up page is working now. Okay, the entire sign up page is working, but apart from this sign up working sign up page, we should be knowing that sign up page should look something uh, good, like something beautiful. It should look like, it should match the website that we are designing, it should match the bootstrap classes that we are using. Okay, so for that we need to move ahead and look into that, but as of now it is too much time. Since 3 hours we are continuously learning the things, and which is like it will bounce your head. So I'll keep this in the next session. I'll start with like sign up page. I already shown you how it is working, how the things are getting inserted into database, how the file is uploaded to the server, and file URL is uploaded into the database. This all things you have learned, and this is the sign up page. And now when you just say login and sign up with any of the user that you have created. So login. Okay, now you can see Abby over here. Okay, apart from this we will discuss rest things in the next session. Assignment for today's class would be, now we have the sign up page is there. Sign up page is being displayed at the left side. Please display it on in the middle of the page as we have displayed the login page. Okay, and then make this register button look like this one, login. Look like login. And when you click here, you don't see any bootstrap classes given to this. If you click here, you see bootstrap things are this. Try to put the styles for that using bootstrap. Okay, try this thing, as again we will be discussing this thing in the further class, but please do try these things also. See you guys in the next session. Please leave the feedback.
Thanks for watching.